for part 2 of our 3-part series on the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail. My name is Marquisa. I am the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail Coordinator, and I will be facilitating the application process. In this webinar, we'll be talking a little bit about how to apply, what materials you'll need, and where to direct your questions if need be. So we can go ahead and get started. To start, I'm going to do a quick overview of marker and applicant criteria, just so we can do a little recap. We talked about it a little bit in our last webinar, but I think it's important to go over again. So for marker criteria, we are looking to highlight protest, rally, and sit-in sites, the birthplace or childhood homes of civil rights icons, churches and spaces where people may have organized, spaces and places where civil rights icons may have stayed, visit, or spoke, educational institutions, and legal or courthouses where legal matters were decided on. If you have questions about whether or not your site fulfills these requirements, you can shoot me an email and we can talk about it a little bit. I know I've gotten several questions about whether certain sites fit this criteria, so feel free to send me an email, reach out to North Carolina African American Heritage Commission, and we'll be happy to help you with that. For applicant criteria, we are looking for nonprofit groups with a 501c3 designation, academic institutions, or government entities. If you are an independent entity, reach out to me and I can work with you to match you up with a local organization that fits the applicant criteria. With that, applicants who've received historical highway markers will be ineligible for a civil rights marker. With that said, we do recognize that there are sites specific to the Civil Rights Trail that may not receive a marker or already have a marker. And those sites will not be forgotten. They actually will be included in a digital portion of this program. We are creating a digital map of the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail, and so those locations will also be included in that. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that. Now we can get into where to actually locate the application. If you want to go to the next slide. Okay. So you can locate our application on our website, the African American Heritage Commission, at www.aahc.nc.gov. If you scroll over to our programs tab, you will see North Carolina Civil Rights Trail is listed beneath that. And I'll take you to the page with all of the information about how to apply. And if you scroll down to the How to Apply tab, you'll actually see a link to download that application. So that is where you can find it and download it. And if you have any issues accessing that or have any problems, again, feel free to reach out to me and we'll work that out for you. For the application submissions, you will either email them to this or to us at the email provided, or you can mail them to us at the address provided. If you're emailing, it's noted here, just submit your materials through Google Drive or Dropbox. That way we can make sure we have access to those materials and nothing gets lost. For the mailing, for scanning purposes, it's stated here, just try to use paper clips instead of staples. Again, if you have any questions about how to submit your application, if you're having trouble submitting your application, feel free to reach out to me. That is my name, my title, and my email listed on the screen. So if you're having any issues, if you're having any concerns, any questions, you can reach out to me at any time. I have a pretty quick turnaround for questions, so feel free. If you need access to certain things or if you're looking for certain materials and resources, you can also reach out to me for that. And now I'm going to turn it over to Adrian, who's going to go into a little more detail on the application materials.
Thank you, Marquisa. My name is Adrian Nearday, and I am the Associate Director of the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission. So in addition to the application itself, we are asking that folks compile some materials in order to, make sure that their application is complete. And that includes primary sources. So these are items that were written at the time of the event, or when the relevant events that you were hoping to mark took place. So this includes everything from letters, deeds, newspaper articles, meeting minutes, really things that were written at the time of the event. And if you're having trouble identifying whether or not something is in fact a primary source, please do feel free to reach out to us at the email that we had listed on the following slide. Marquisa is more than willing to help you out with this process and just making sure that you have the proper materials. In addition to those primary sources, we are also asking for secondary sources. And those are really what scholars, what academics, or whoever you want to call them, have to say about the person, place, event, and about those primary sources. So these are not things that were written historically. These are written a little bit more modern, and they help to put more context around whatever the subject that your marker is hoping to be. It helps to state why, in fact, that this would be an important event or individual to be referencing. We are asking that in addition to either scans or photocopies of the primary and secondary sources, that you also have them listed within a bibliography. Really, it's just an alphabetical listing of those types of sources. If you're not sure about the formatting of the bibliography, please don't worry about that too much. I do recommend either Microsoft Word has now an embedded feature within it that you can just enter your author, the date, and all of the relevant information, and it'll put it in the proper format for you. Or you can take a look at a website like easybib.com, EASYBIB.com, and I can share that in the chat towards the end of our presentation. Really just anywhere that can help you to organize that information. We're not too worried about, APA, Chicago style, whatever. We're very flexible on that, so not to worry. In addition to kind of the source-based materials, we are also asking that you include a letter from the landowner or associated municipal official granting permission to install the marker. We want to make sure that, everything is, good to go from the get-go, and that you will be able to legally install your marker in a proper location. As well as we are asking for folks to put together a historical essay. So this is really your opportunity to tell us more. Why do you believe that your site, your individual, your event is important? What makes it, particularly significant within your community? And really highlight that. Tell us more. Feel free to share your excitement about what you are hoping to mark. And in terms of the submission and notification process, we are currently within round 1, with the applications being due no later than January 1st, 2021, with the goal that folks applying during this cycle will be notified no later than February 2021. And we do have listed here that there are 2 additional cycles occurring through 2022. And in terms of this first cycle, we will be awarding up to 20 markers. And if for whatever reason you are not awarded a marker at this time, you are invited to reapply with that application up to 1 time. And as well as you're compiling your materials and sending them in, Marquisa will be reviewing to make sure that you have all of the materials that we are asking for. So in case, oh, you forgot your bibliography or something like that, she will certainly let you know so that we can make sure that we have a full application packet to present to our North Carolina Civil Rights Trail Advisory Committee. So it is an advisory committee that will be reviewing the applications. It is not me, it is not Marquisa, it is a group of folks that we identified as really being experts on North Carolina civil rights history. So this includes folks from HBCUs, local state colleges and private colleges and universities within our state, as well as we have a couple of folks from the museum field, one from the Museum of the Southeast American Indian, as well as one from the Levine Museum of the New South, and one of our North Carolina African American Heritage Commissioners. So really a group of very knowledgeable folks who will be reviewing during this application process.
And that advisory board, I just want to add, they will be meeting around mid-January. And so that's right in line to get notifications back to applicants by February. If you have questions about that, it'll be around mid-January that they meet to decide.
Absolutely. And now, at this point, I would like to open this up to questions. Please feel free to leave those in the chat if you do have them. It was the second installment of our webinar series. First installment occurred last week, and that was more of a general overview of the entire program. And that recording is currently available on our website as well as our YouTube page. So if you follow this website link that I have listed on this page, you can certainly go back and take a look at that one. That recording is about 25 minutes long, but it kind of goes just a general overview of the program itself. We will have our third and final installment of the webinar series next week on November 23rd at 10 a.m. And that one will go more into the specifics of placing the markers themselves. So, okay, so I need a letter from a landowner or a municipal official. Who is that in your town? How do you identify who you need to reach out to, and ensuring that you're looking at the proper right-of-ways and all of that kind of stuff. For that webinar, we will be bringing in Ansley Wegner, who is the trail coordinator for the State Highway Marker Program. She is also involved in our process here with the North Carolina Civil Rights Trail, and is certainly an expert in placement and all of this. We did receive one question within the chat. How are we promoting the program to the public? That is a great question. So one way that we're doing that is by this webinar series that you have thankfully joined us with today. I know that folks were notified about it through email as well as through our social media and our commission page. But also Marquisa has been working very diligently on identifying folks within the community to reach out to. So Marquisa, if you'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of research. I've reached out to local organizations in over 50 counties in North Carolina, and just reaching out to them directly to let them know what we're doing, what our goals are, and a little background on what we're looking to get from the program. We're providing them with all the resources they need to really get started and with the application process. A lot of the information we are discussing is being posted on our social media, has been provided via email, and is being provided now. So we've got a couple avenues of promoting the program, and it's been pretty successful so far, I'll say. So.
Thank you, Marquisa.
Mm-hmm. I also want to say, oh, sorry.
Go for it.
I think our third webinar is on the 24th. I think you said the 23rd. I just want to double check that. I think it's on the 24th, though. I think that's a Thursday.
So next week is Thanksgiving, so.
Or Tuesday, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have it listed as Tuesday.
Oh yeah, Tuesday the 24th. I apologize for misspeaking on that. So Tuesday the 24th at 10 a.m. is when our third and final installment of this webinar series. And along with the first, this one, and our final, they will all be recorded and available on our website. So if you have any folks in your community that were interested in receiving this information and are not here right at this moment, totally fine. They can take a look at it later on. As well as if you are in this room now and you maybe joined us a few minutes late, we will be also sending that recording to your email as well.
Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, if you do need any materials, any resources, anything pertaining to the application process, you can reach out to us and me. You can use that email that's provided on the screen, and I can provide you with any information that you may need going into the process or any outstanding questions pertaining to criteria or anything like that. So.
Most definitely. I want to reiterate, we want to help you to make sure that you have a successful application. You know, obviously there is a little bit of competition within this process, but we want to make sure that you are, you know, putting your best foot forward in front of the advisory committee, and that you have all the resources and things that you need available to you. So we just received a question in the chat. Marquisa, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so have you already received applications for the first round? So we have not, and we did talk a little bit amongst ourselves, and we discussed how, you know, these tend to go, these applications, these programs. Some people may wait till the last minute, so we are anticipating that. But I feel like we'll be getting some applications coming in soon, especially after we've wrapped up the information webinars and everybody's got the information they need. I think we'll start to see some applications coming in.
Absolutely. And again, the deadline for this first round of applications is due no later than January 1st, 2021. So be sure to get those in. I recommend maybe taking a look at it prior to the holidays just to make sure that you can gather all of your materials. That way, if there are any questions that you come up with, that Marquisa is able to address them perhaps before Christmas, just to make sure she certainly will keep an eye on that email. It will take us a little bit of time over the holidays to respond to you. But we are certainly ready and excited to be receiving your applications. And you know, again, feel free to leave any questions in the chat. I think we'll give it just a couple more minutes here before we get wrapped up. Again, I want to thank you again for joining us here today.
Absolutely. One more note to make before we sign off here. I would advise getting your application materials in sooner than later, just because if there are any mishaps or any issues, if you're missing materials, we can discuss it. I can, you know, talk to you a little bit about that, and we can make sure everything is complete before the final submission date. So don't feel like if you submit your materials and you're missing something, you've failed. No, those materials can come in and up until January 1st. So, and I'll be helping applicants with that.
All right, so it appears that we don't have any more questions within the chat. If you do think of any of them later on, again, please do feel free to reach out to us at the email that we have listed here, or take a look at our program page. And we look forward to receiving your applications and questions. I do hope that you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, rest of your day. Please do stay safe and well, and thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.